Trump Media is rolling out a new service offering early access to the president's Truth Social posts. The product is called Truth API. A spokesperson says it delivers posts from the 10 most influential accounts to customers at a significantly faster pace than a regular push notification on the Truth Social platform. Company officials say the feed is designed for organizations, quote, most impacted by the cost of a delay in information, such as algorithmic trading firms.
All right, joining us now, Chief Analyst Khalif Rhodes, to break this down. Khalif, this is something that's been talked about a lot on Capitol Hill, a lot of lawmakers saying, how is this not insider trading? Even in the post, it says early access to these posts because these posts move markets. So break down the legality of this.
Well, a couple things. I'll start with the first thing. The biggest question is not whether this is legal, because the API itself is legal.
Right.
Premium data feeds, they happen all the time. Bloomberg, I mean, anyone that's in that trading sphere knows that you get access to data and people pay for the data. It's whether ethically you should be doing this as a sitting president and market fairness. Does premium access undermine confidence in an equal access market? That's probably going to be the biggest question. To your question about insider trading, it's normally for non-public material information, and this is going to be public information. It's just going to be quicker to get access to that public information. And so instead of having to go and search for these individual posts, instead of waiting for them to be pushed, if you subscribe, you'll now get something quicker than that. But I think it does raise a number of potential concerns, but I don't think, looking at all of the laws, that I would potentially think there's some illegality. I don't think that it's here. I mean, securities law, you're talking about selective disclosure. I don't think that's a violation. Conflict of interest, ethics, potentially maybe, but I think that's limited. Insider trading, absolutely not. Market manipulation, probably the closest one. If you're intentionally sending out these posts that folks are now paying for, and then you're doing it with the intention to move the market, maybe. Most of this is again, ethical question, less than a legal question.
So if you were looking to stop this, right, how would someone go about doing that?
I mean, it would have to be.
Or can they?
Well, I think that it would be extremely hard to stop something like this from occurring, because there's not a violation based on the way our securities laws are set up. I don't think there's any violation at all. Again, the larger question is, yeah, he owns 41% of the company that will profit from this. Yes, he's his current sitting president. So those two things combined would raise larger ethical concerns, and I think that's probably the only push that you could have to stopping it. But even then, I mean, I don't think there's a court that could say, yeah, we'll grant an injunction to stop this, because now we're talking about money. Money could fix this, so your irreparable harm aspect wouldn't occur. The market manipulation, again, is the strongest question, but the regulatory and security concerns, not at all. Congress could attempt to come in here or the SEC could attempt and decide to try to create some new rule that stops this type of thing from happening. But save from Congress saying that explicitly the president can't do this, yeah, there's nothing illegal about this at all.
Schumer has said insider trading, even though you've already dispelled that. Representative Richie Torres, he mentioned what you said in terms of market manipulation rules. He has concerns there and investor protection standards. But also then there's the question of allowing the presidential family to benefit off of knowledge that they would only have from working in the White House there. So is it more of just a question of, this doesn't seem right, but legally it's above the bar?
Yeah, and that's why it's ethics. That's why you raise the ethical question and concern. I mean, I would tell my students when I taught ethics in the law school, it's that, yeah, a number of times you see things and it's like, oh, it doesn't pass the smell test. Doesn't mean it's illegal, but it may be ethically or morally wrong. But those are concerns or questions that don't deal with the court of law, more just the court of public opinion. And that has really no bearing, especially if he has the ability to do this and there is a market that wants to get access to this. If there are folks that are willing to pay for it, I don't think there's any way that you can stop something like this unless these data feeds are giving them days notice, you know.
Right.
I think that would clearly be a concern. But if you're getting a momentary notice and other folks have access to doing it, then it's a problem.
And our Chief Legal Analyst, Khalif Rhodes, weighing in on that. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.